Forward. In the quiet fields of Barrow County, the fences were meant to keep peace. Instead, they built a war. When Jonas Darby, a weary veteran seeking solitude, buys a small tract of rural land, all he wants is silence. But when a pack of hunting dogs crosses his fence one winter morning, a single confrontation spirals into a courtroom battle, a social media storm, and a movement he never meant to lead. Told through the eyes of Deputy Tom Miller, the man tasked with keeping the peace in a county where everyone has a gun and an opinion. The Land Beyond the Fence is a haunting portrait of isolation, digital rage, and the thin line between protecting what's yours and destroying what you love. Chapter 1. The fence line Barrow County wasn't on most maps, not the kind tourists bought at gas stations. If you knew where it was, you didn't need the map, and if you didn't, you weren't looking for it anyway. It was a blend of farmland and pine, stitched together by creeks and rusted wire, where people still waved at the mailman and still counted distance by about 10 minutes. That way Jonas Darby saw it first in late winter, from the window of his truck. He had been driving for 2 days, following a GPS voice that kept losing confidence the farther he went. He told himself this move was a new start, a retreat from the noise and complication that had eaten everything familiar. 40 acres, a small house, and a fence. That was the dream. Boundaries. When he pulled into the drive, the real estate agent was already waiting, leaning on the porch rail. She smiled the easy smile of someone who sold more peace of mind than property. "Welcome home, Mr. Darby. It's quiet here. You'll like that." He looked at the pasture beyond the yard, where the grass bent in the wind like an old man's hair. Quiet, yes. Maybe too quiet. Inside, the house smelled of sawdust and something faintly sweet, like a promise left out in the sun too long. He walked from room to room without speaking, counting door frames, noting locks, testing windows. When he finished, he told her, "I'll take it." He said it the way a man says a prayer, just loud enough for heaven to hear. That night, after the agent drove off, Jonas stood at the back fence. The sky above him was heavy with stars, brighter than any he'd seen in years. He thought of all the things the fence would keep out. Noise, people, mistakes. He ran a hand along the wire, feeling its cold promise. This is mine, he thought. Finally, somewhere beyond the tree line, a hound opened up, long and mournful, the sound rolling through the night like thunder with a heartbeat. Then another joined it, and another, until the dark itself seemed alive. Jonas froze, every muscle tight. When the barking faded, he exhaled slowly and went inside, locking both bolts. He told himself it was nothing. Dogs on a trail, someone else's problem. But as he lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, the echo of that distant howl kept looping through his mind. He tried to convince himself it was just country living. He almost believed it. The next morning he found tracks by the back fence. Paw prints, big ones, pressed deep into the damp soil. He crouched to look closer. The ground still smelled of wet earth and something musky. Whatever it was, it had passed only hours ago. He followed the prints along the wire until they veered off into the woods. When he looked up, he saw movement, just a flash, a blur of brown and white, and then nothing. A low growl rose in his throat before he realized it came from him, not from whatever had been out there. He turned back toward the house, suddenly aware of how small it looked against the trees. Inside, he made coffee, strong and black, and watched the tree line through the kitchen window. The fence was still there, solid and sharp, but for the first time, he wondered if it was tall enough. That afternoon, a pickup pulled into the drive, tires crunching gravel. A man stepped out, broad-shouldered, sun-creased, the kind of neighbor that didn't need introductions because he assumed everyone was already on speaking terms. "Name's Cole Turner," he said, offering a hand. "Run dogs up this way with Pine Hollow Hunt Club." "You must be the new fella." Jonas shook his hand, wary but polite. "Jonas Darby." "I don't mind dogs, long as they stay off my property." Cole's grin flickered, not quite fading. "They usually do, but hounds don't read signs too good. If one gets past the fence, don't shoot him, all right? Just call. We'll come get him quick." I'd rather they not come at all, Jonas said. Fair enough, Cole replied. He tapped the brim of his cap, half salute, half warning, and climbed back into his truck. As he drove away, Jonas caught sight of a sticker on the tailgate. If you ain't hunting with hounds, you're just camping. That evening, Jonas walked the fence again. He found one place where the wire sagged slightly, a spot small enough for a dog to slip under. He fixed it before sunset, hands trembling against the cold metal. When the last staple was in, he stood back and admired the clean line of his boundary. It wasn't perfect, but it was his. As night fell, the barking started again, distant but familiar now, weaving through the pines like memory. He listened until it faded, and only then went inside. He didn't know it yet, but that sound, the hounds running somewhere beyond his fence, would become the metronome of his life. End of chapter 1.